Ron Arts on TV again in the late night or early morning. Uh, I want to talk about the word unalive, and it's been sitting on me for a while, man. I just haven't said it, and I just been trying to make sure I had it in my mind the way I wanted to. I guess to say it, the right words, and I thought about it enough. And you know, when somebody is forcefully taken off this earth, taken off this earth against their will, you can't get on these platforms and say what happened. You have to say they were unalive. And I find that really, really strange because they'll show you, you can see it happening on camera. I remember the first time I got on a social media platform, one of the first things I ever saw, because for a while I wouldn't even get on no social media. I didn't trust it, and I really still don't, but the way things is now, it's like, whatever. But the first thing I saw was a dude die, was a dude be unalived. While he was running from, like, the law enforcement. I couldn't believe it. I had never seen nothing like that because I wasn't on social media. Like, I refused to mess with it. And when I saw that, I was like, this is this is the kind of stuff they got over here? People being unalive on camera? Like, this is what we're watching? Like, this is what y'all been watching all this year? It was years that it was in effect before I started messing with it. And I'm like, this is what's going on? And as the years have passed, it's gotten even worse. Like, the things that you can see are just way worse. I think I joined my first social media platform, I think it was like 2015, 2016. I wouldn't even mess with it. And it's gotten worse, way worse. The things that you can see, the things that people are doing, the things that are just happening that ain't on camera. Just real life is worse. And it makes me ask the question, and I'm like, what? Maybe I'm tripping, or I don't know. But I'm like, what's the point of? Why can I see the worst things ever on camera? Why can I see the worst things ever in just my day-to-day life? Why can I see people sleeping outside, people suffering daily, people begging for food and water, and little kids out here messed up and adults messed up, and I can see people unalived in real life if it so happened to happen in front of my face. I can see whatever, and with my own eyes, and I have to come on a platform and say unalive. Like that makes it not what it is. Like, I can see people unalive. Like, it can happen. It happens. People are being unalived in the worst ways ever, and you can watch it. It's like you're softening the language, but the day-to-day reality is getting harsher and worse and meaner and more mean-spirited and more terrible by the day. But I gotta say unalive. I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't understand the point of that. What's the point of that? Like, what does that do? If you're not gonna go and stop the terrible things that are happening, why do I have to not? Why can't I call it what it is? These things are happening, but I gotta talk about them in a soft way. But it doesn't soften the actual reality of what's happening to people. It's just a thought I've been had in my head for a while. Like, what's the point of that? What's the real point of that? Because it doesn't make any sense. And I don't think people are asking themselves that question. Why do I have to say that? But the world is getting worse and worse and worse and harder and harder and harder and more terrible and more terrible and more terrible. But I'm supposed to talk about it in a sensitive way. And the world is getting more insensitive, more bad, more harder to live in, more unsafe, more predatory as far as just people on one another. Just the way people treat each other is getting worse and worse and worse. People are more disconnected from each other if it's not online. I go out and I don't even see people talking to each other. It's just, I just don't get the point of the language we're being made to use that's so soft, but the world ain't so soft. The world is not soft. So why are we being forced to use this soft language to describe an ever increasingly mean, hateful, spiteful world? Like murderous world. Like what what is the point of the language being changed if the behavior is getting worse? It just, I don't get it. Maybe I'm, not seeing it. I don't know. But I just think that's incredibly ridiculous. Like, what's the point of this? It's just a question. Brian Armstrong TV.